Onyx is my favorite Pokemon. And for my last tourney before the new set, I may as well have fun. This list should be good enough. Just gotta hit submit and... Huh? Darkrai Magnezone. What? May I interest you in the art of winning? What's good, YouTube? Man of Steel here. As the space-time format comes to a close and we emphatically await whatever the next mini set has to offer, I decided to give what I believe is the best deck in the format one last chance in a tournament setting before hopefully we get to turn the page and see a brand new metagame. I wholeheartedly believe the best deck at the beginning of this format is the best deck still at the end, as Magnezone Darkrai provides a combination of versatility and power that no other deck could realistically keep up with on a one-to-one basis. I'm aware what the stats say, and I will go into the metagame of this specific tournament as it's reflective of what we've seen for the past month, I feel, or even more. And I'm very aware that a lot of luck goes into having the run similar to the one I just had. But I truly believe once you put the right game plan alongside that luck is where you get the results. This is not the first or the last time that I'll break down what a Darkrai EX does, as I can't imagine any release in the next set is going to completely fizzle Darkrai the way that Mewtwo was fizzled out. At least I'll give it a set or two more after this one before Darkrai finds its maker, I guess. But Darkrai's ability of just dealing 20 damage once you put an energy, eventually building him up to deal 80 damage, continues to be probably the best card in space-time. If I were to reevaluate every single card from the tier list that I made on release, not only was Darkrai broken, I would put it in its own tier without hesitation. And I know some of y'all might be thinking, wait, how are you going to put Darkrai in its own tier when Magnezone's debatably more popular and even more effective? What I have to say to that is that if Magneton did not exist, Magnezone would be basically irrelevant. Yes, you would see it in the meta. Yeah, it would win a game here or there, especially with a surge play. But it would not be as effective or as splashable. Or actually, it wouldn't be splashable at all, but it wouldn't be as effective as it is with the genetic Apex Magneton. As you can see from my list, alongside the namesake, which is the Darkrai and the Magnezone, we're playing a 1-1 Kangaskhan Jotagon line. Jotagon is Jotagon. It's the same as Mythical Island. Once you see him, he's just up front and taking hits, and he's solely here to be a tank. But the MVP at the tournament has to go to Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan provided so much damage and such a wall, allowed us to play games where we didn't even sacrifice Darkrai, or Darkrai didn't even touch the field, because we were able to go from Jotagon to Kangaskhan to Magnezone, just straight up one-pointers. And if anything, from Kangaskhan to Magnezone to then Darkrai, forcing the opponent to grind through the lineup in a way that's very tedious and not easy for them to deal with, as Jotagon's rough skin, a helmet on a Kangaskhan, and then Darkrai constantly hitting for 20, starts overwhelming them, alongside the fact that you are applying pressure with cards like Kangaskhan, and Magnezone being built up is just like a bomb ready to go off. As you can see in most of my deck lists, and especially in this one, I'm a big fan of having options or versatility. It might not be the most effective way of deck building. It is my personal favorite way of deck building. As you can see, I'm playing the 1-1 of Kangaskhan and Jotagon. I'm playing the 1-1 of Sabrina and Cyrus. I'm playing the 1-1 of Cape and Helmet. And all these splits are easily interchangeable due to preference. If you prefer Jotagon just being a wall, you could do that. If you prefer the aggressiveness of Kanga, you could just play two of that. If you like Sabrina over Cyrus or vice versa, you could play two. And same thing with the tools. Ultimately, this is the list that I felt comfortable with. It's a list that I took to the tournament, and it's my last tournament before the new release. It works as I was able to get the win in a best of 3 out of 91 players. The Dark League Classical Wednesday tournament had a total of 91 players, and despite the metagame being pretty standard on the surface, I was genuinely surprised by the turnout, as in the days leading up to this tournament, it felt as if Executor was losing steam and the rise of Skarmory Magnezone was keeping it in check alongside the popularity of Charizard. However, once I looked at the metagame, I realized my meta call wasn't as sound as I believed it was. Executor took up a whopping 35% of the total decks being played, followed by Darkrai, which took up a quarter of the player base. Other decks with noticeable amounts was the 6% of Charizards and the 3% of Dialga Yanmega and Palkia Vaporeon decks. A couple of decks that were barely represented and thus thrown into the other pile were Magnezone Skarmory and Pachirisu EX. When we ultimately break down my tournament matchups, it is a good reflection of the metagame. Unlike Executor, the large amount of Darkrai decks is actually made up of different variants. Out of the 23 Darkrai's, 14 were Magnezone builds like mine, 6 were of the Greninja variety, and last but not least, 3 were using Weavile. When looking at the metagame as a whole and what decks made up Darkrai split, top 16 should come as no surprise, as it is comprised of 8 Executors, 5 Darkrai Magnezones including myself, 1 Darkrai Greninja, 1 Charizard, and 1 Rampardos. By the time we got to top 8, it was just 5 eggs, 2 Magnezones, and the 1 Greninja, and eventually the finals was just me and the last Executor standing. And as the title of this video and the gameplay that follows will show, we took the win home. So now that we've seen my deck list as well as the meta breakdown, I kind of want to look into my personal matchups. Starting from bottom to top, because it is from round 1 all the way to the finals. As you can see from the earlier rounds, especially when you do well, is like the slight chances of seeing something off meta. Like we saw a Raichu deck with Magnezone, which is clearly not what most people are playing. Then I saw an 18 trainer Palkia, so you know, it was a good start to the tournament. Honestly, both players played well. It was just a matter of I'm playing the best deck in the room, while you gotta give them credit for like trying something different. After that is that the tournament really turned its head towards basically just constantly seeing top tier decks. We faced a mirror that we got the win on. Then our only loss came to a Greninja Darkrai that personally in the moment and looking back at it, I clearly could have played better. I basically messed up turn 1 and I was never able to recover because I did take it to a game 3, but I was in a game 3 because of how badly I played a game 1. But you know, it was like a learning curve slash like, okay, I'm never doing that again. But for what it's worth, they played it very well. They saw the Greninja line basically every game. And for my own self-esteem, we'll just move on to more wins. After my first losses that I got to face back-to-back my worst matchup, and fortunately for me, I was able to get them back-to-back, which is almost like, where were the Celebies hiding up to this point? Like, I didn't face any grass up to this point, so I was feeling pretty confident. I was feeling pretty comfortable because I was like, as long as I could avoid that matchup, we should be fine. Turns out luck was on my side, and I should have been wishing I was going against them all day. As you could sneak peek, like spoiler alert, just look up, but whatever. The final match, which I will show after this, is a mirror match that the opponent played very well, but it shows the importance of actually being able to see our line. And sometimes it's not who plays better, but it's just whoever gets the luck of the draw, which is something hopefully as we move forward becomes less and less part of Pokemon. But with how many coin flips and how many different mechanics they try to introduce, it seems like at the end of the day, it will always be a part of the game, whether we like it or not. And then going into Top Cut, you could clearly see it was just grass, 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 grass. Like, it was all throughout. And fortunately, at this point, like, I wasn't even scared of the matchup. The gameplay will show that luck was on my side. Like, clearly, if their executors were just getting heads turn after turn after turn, there's probably not much I could have done. It was, like, too aggressive. But whether it was a missed tails or the fact that my Kangaskhan was swinging, like, at full force off rip, I truly believe my approach to the matchup alongside the luck was what allowed me to beat so many executors. Like, because, yeah, you could say I got lucky and beat it 1, but to beat 5, actually, to beat 6 different ones, at some point, I'm doing something right? I gotta give myself some credit. Nonetheless, this video is sort of like a send-off to the format. I do believe this was the best deck from the very beginning and currently, but I saw the opportunity to take it to a best-of-3 format where I felt like I would have more control and more likely to, like, beat variants, as like I didn't have to worry about like what if they get a very good game 1. They have to get 2 good games against me, so it put me in a position, like a mental state where I was like, I could do this, and luckily I was able to pull it out. Hopefully you enjoy the gameplay. If you for some reason you guys want to see more of the tournament or how it went, I did record the entire tournament. I'm just gonna put round 7 because it's a mirror match that showcases like the best deck going against itself, and then I'll put the finals because at the end of the day it's the finals. And honestly, my deck showed out, my luck showed out. Everything went according to plan, and I couldn't be prouder of how I was able to play, especially after so many hours. Here and there will be like missteps that you might catch in the video. But yes, it's been a while since I was in a tournament setting, especially best of 3 that takes so much time. And I enjoyed it, and I wish to an extent that I could play in more of them. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed the tournament breakdowns, and I look forward to doing more now that the new set is out, and hopefully the more variety to the format. If you enjoy the content, please consider liking and subscribing. And above all else, stay pro. We get to go second. This is the final round of Swiss, and we do in fact have a mirror match. The only difference being, I play 1 Kangaskhan, 1 Drodagon. They're on double Kangaskhan. This start could be really, really strong depending on what we draw. So yeah, if you're wondering what to expect or what to look from their side, just replace the 1 Drodagon with a 2nd Kangaskhan. It's like exactly card for card, trust. Right, let's see. They do get to go first, but they have the same amount of Sabrinas, same amount of Leaf, same amount of Cyrus. They're playing the 1 communication just like us. All right, an early communication is interesting. I can't like say I agree or I don't agree with the decision because I don't know what their hand looks like. All right. Technically, mathematically, if we want to see Magnemite, well, we need to research. first and then Pokeball. So just to maximize the chances. There's the Darkrai. If this is a Magnemite, I think we can't lose this game. Unfortunate for sure. Rocky Helmet's also not very good in the situation. And however, I do think the chances of being like aggressive with Kangaskhan are above the burn. Okay, wow. Okay, no complaints from Kangaskhan there. They have no potions. They do have the possibility of cape. We just need a Magnemite, and then I feel really good about our chances. I'm aware they're ahead in that aspect. But given that we have Kangaskhan into Drotagon into Magnezone, like we have that line of play like available to us, I don't feel too bad about the situation. Come on, Magnemite. Research. Sabrina. Magnezone. Jesus, okay. They still can't attack us next turn. We could cape, but we're not forced to do anything currently. So let's give an energy to Darkrai. And potentially this could be game breaking. Let's see here. Okay, it's honestly it's only fair, right? Mathematically. Honestly, I'm upset. Like I would have preferred it had worked, but it's only fair. It's only fair. All right. They have the option to run away with Dark right now if they wanted to. Or they could risk and leave it in just another turn. We're down to 8 cards in deck. And there's communication that could get us communication could potentially get us Magnemite. Okay, yeah, this play by them makes sense. There's the Magnemite. Okay, beautiful. Let's go Magnemite here. Is it too greedy to hold on to? I think Helmet might be worth placing currently. Like a Sabrina could be huge here, right? Like I don't think it's too aggressive to Sabrina here. Let's do it. Let's do it. I could get punished for this, but the build-up we have currently, I just don't see us losing this game. All right. Kangaskhan, you did it turn 1. Can you pull it off again? 1. It's hard carrying the game, honestly. Now there's 0% chance. Like, we're just a Cyrus away from dragging out the Darkrai at any moment. We already have our own Magneton Magnezone line coming up. Talk about putting the team on your back. Sabrina. I think we just send out Darkrai, right? We don't really care. They have no chance of building up anything at this point. Not sure what the game plan there is, but yeah, we could, but there's no need to reveal like what's in our hand currently. Especially when you're only playing 1 cape, 1 helmet, you want to hold on to when it matters. He did force our hand and force us to give him 4 points, But other than that, like, there's nothing for him to do. Like, let's say he draws into the Kangaskhan. Yeah, he could have swapped into it, but then we just charge, swing. Alright, that's game 1. GG's. Alright, now game 2. Nothing's guaranteed. We are going first, which I'm not a fan of having to start going first, but this Jotagon does help with that. Our best bet, though, is, Alright, hopefully we see Darkrai. That's all I can say. There's Darkrai. Perfect. And we have 2 options. One of them being, like we could hard commit to, like, the helmet on Jotagon, but I'm gonna go helmet on Darkrai so that the Kangaskhan, like, the Sabrina play isn't as, like, obvious for them to do. They have to, like, think twice about it. We're just a Magnezone away from having a perfect start. Alright, Pokeball. They have their Darkrai, and they have... Okay, so basically it's as mirror as it could be. Committing to double Darkrai's a choice. And they're actually swinging. Okay, so they decided to be aggressive. Alright, so here we basically traded the same amount of damage. That's not Magnezone, but we're not pressed to see it just yet. And we will cape here. And the reason we're going to cape here is because we want Kangaskhan, like Darkrai, the max they could hit next turn is 80. So I want to either make them feel like they shouldn't swing, or just make them not swing as like altogether. Okay, research. I wouldn't mind a research draw next turn. The Pokeball doesn't matter due to how they decided to drop Darkrai's on the board for some reason. There's a lot of cards that, like, put us in a really good spot. Okay, that's perfect. Jotagon gets another turn. And there's the Magnezone. Okay, so we feel a lot better about our situation. And we get to be super aggressive next turn. Because if this Kangaskhan even gets a hidden on the Jotagon, we're able to charge Darkrai and swing at what's next. And then we have Cyrus. Yeah, no, this... They have ways to play around it. But on paper, this seems like it's a wrap. Especially since they haven't seen Magneton. Okay, there's their Sabrina. We'll give them Darkrai. Again, what we want them is to not swing with Kangaskhan. Actually, we want them to swing with Kangaskhan, correct. My bad. Alright, we really want this Kangaskhan not to go double tails. I know they're upset from their end, but when I tell you this helps them more than it hurts them, it's crazy. When I tell you, had it hit us at all, they would have lost the game. I'm not exaggerating at all. We could take the knockout, and they technically can't return the favor, right? So it's almost, it's not identical situation, but it's a similar one. Yeah, because if we go... I'm trying to do the math in my head. Realistically, we would need a Darkrai. Are we guaranteed Darkrai? No, we could actually get a Magnemite as well off of this. Or Magnezone. If we swing here, then next turn they hit us down to 20. Yeah, I think this is worth more than playing it passively. Yeah. Especially since we already have the Magnezone ready. And they're out of a Sabrina, and all they have left is a Cyrus play. If they don't use Cape on this Darkrai, they lose. That's not a Cape, okay. Wow. It's kind of crazy how bad Kangaskhan has been for them. Alright, so yeah, so I'm about to say the second, our win condition is seeing another Darkrai. Let's go here, Volt Charge. I think I want to force them to use Cyrus, and that way we don't have like a secondary way of losing. Let's establish the second Darkrai. And whether we build it up or not, I don't think matters. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Because the win condition is the second they swing at Darkrai with a helmet, we just need to charge. Yeah, this is game. They clearly have the Cyrus play available due to how they're playing it. Do they have the Cape? If they have Cape, that's the only thing that buys them some more time, but not enough time, since they already used their Sabrina. Okay, the Cyrus play is clear. Do they have the Cape? Okay, they have the Cape. But that buys them a little more time, but not enough to win the game. They definitely made it a close one, though. Again, they're not playing no more potion. There's no hidden play here. They're out of Sabrinas and Cyruses. They can't manipulate the board anymore. Yeah, and then any form of like swapping out, we've had Cyrus since like turn 1. They never saw. Honestly, I'd be upset if that was them. I don't know what just happened. I've lost my fair share of games for not seeing the Magnezone line, and it's very upsetting because it's one of those like, had I just seen it a turn earlier, 2 turns earlier, whatever, it's just the game completely changes. We were literally able to play as freely and as stress-free as we wanted to because they had no option, like no way of applying pressure. Yeah, we could like pick our way of winning the game here. We'll go Cyrus since it's been there. I'll run basically, and we'll let Darkrai take it. GG's to our opponent. Honestly, it feels bad when, as a Magnezone player, if you don't see like the line. Like I've seen games without Magnemite. I've seen games where I don't see the middle, and then the games where you don't see Magnezone at all. It's rough. It's rough. GG's though. And here we are in the finals, going against, you guessed it, another pair of eggs. Going first, this would have been great, but you know, we won't complain. It's a good start. We'll start. The game plan does not change. We'll double Pokeball and then research, just because this basically guarantees everything we want to see. I guess it doesn't, right? If this is Jotagon, I'm gonna feel pretty dumb. There it is. Okay, everything we want to see. Back to that. Let's see, Cyrus and Sabrina. Okay, that's quite the hand. They can't knock out Kangaskhan next turn, but they would be able to like be annoying with Sabrina. So we'll hold our hands close to us. One thing to note, I was about to say, their deck is only playing one cape, double helmet. So they don't fear Kangaskhan at all. All right. We go for the second research. We could have Sabrina and try to be aggressive, but since we can't come. Wow, what a beautiful hand. Let's go here. Let's go Darkrai here. And I'll hold the other Darkrai because if we get like a different card that we can put down here, and we gotta take our chances. 2 heads here, and we're so far ahead. One. You haven't disappointed. Yes, finally. Let's go. Waiting for the finals to make it count. That's what I like to see. Immediately get our first point on the board. And now everything is just... Our next knockout is game, and we have the perfect setup, quote-unquote, right? Like, it's not... like card for card perfect, but... It's a hell of a start. Like, the only thing that will top it is if they do evolve into Executor and get Tails and have Kangaskhan survive yet another turn. Here's where I really wish we would have seen, or really had, what's it called? Yeah, they got it. We couldn't do too much about that. I really wish we would have had... Why am I blanking out? Like a Drotagon to go into. Just to like protect everything. The way I played it is pretty risky. I should have probably just sent out Darkrai outright. We gotta think mathematically. If I go Leaf, Magnezone once, I'm gonna take my chances with the coin flip. We'll even put another Darkrai. Again, they only play one Cyrus. So as long as we get around that, I think we're pretty fine. They haven't used Sabrina at all. Okay, we're in a way worse spot than we should have been. But we're not out of it yet. Sabrina's actually a win condition here. Let's send out Darkrai. Hope for a Tails, because otherwise we like auto lose to the Cyrus play. Okay, good. Doesn't win us anything on paper, but you know, we're trying our best here. Had the Magnezone be building up like just a turn earlier, we could play around. How much cards that they have half their deck. Hopefully they don't have the Cyrus already. I kind of want to leave. Now let's do... Hitting for 110 just yet isn't enough to win the game. We're in quite the tough spot.
I honestly don't know what to do. Let's I guess play around Cyrus. That didn't feel good as a play.
Yeah, it was an odd situation. Kangaskhan didn't survive as long as I wanted it to. We're still in the same situation. They have the Cyrus. Okay, so best part is that it's their only Cyrus. So if they get Tails here, we're good in terms of like what they could threaten us with. Please just be Tails. Come on. Second chance. Second chance. Let's go. Let's go. And the best part, that Executor can't go nowhere. Leaf, retreat into Magneton. Volt Charge. Let's give Darkrai an energy, because if they Sabrina, we're gonna have to give them another energy to kind of like try to run away. Let's go Magnezone here. What have they used so far? They've used 0 Ericas. They could technically have the 1 cape. I think we're giving Helmet to Darkrai. Is that the right play? We're hitting them down to 110. Then they can't really swing. I think I'm giving it to Darkrai. That way it plays around like the Celebi's play. Alright, so we can no longer lose due to Cyrus. Like, this Darkrai is safe. Like, their win condition would be... essentially Sabrina into triple heads off of the Celebi. That's the only win condition. But we already knew the Executor can't go anywhere. I almost made the same misplay I did 2 rounds ago. They can't even swing. If they swing, they lose. So the helmet was perfect. Okay, we'll go on to the next one, I guess. Thanks to Executor for being a pacifist, though. And let's go to game 2. Alright, we get to go second in what could be the final game. And we open Kangaskhan. This is amazing. If they don't... Remember, this is the guy that's only playing 1 cape. If they don't see it... If they don't see it, this could end quick. A Pokeball. Okay, so they got their backs covered, which honestly, okay. Although I prefer seeing Celebi over a second egg because it kind of like cancels out what Kangaskhan could do. All right, let's research. A Drotagon would be huge. I usually wouldn't want to put these cards down just yet. But the fact that the helmet followed up by an egg could just be the end of the game. But, you know, you could always get 2 heads. Come on. Back-to-back games. Let's go. Let's go, dude. When it's your day, it's your day. That's all I can say. And now they're back up with Celebi. And we have the Sabrina Cyrus combo. We just got to build up... Well, we got to see Magneton or build up Darkrai. Either or. And just be relentless on Celebi. If they were to Sabrina here, we just send out Magnemite and swap it out real quick. We don't care for Helmet. Like, it's not ideal taking all this damage, but we'd rather it be stuck at 130 HP than anything else. Alright, we got a Pokeball here.
Jotagon. That's quite the decision to make, because if we search, it's just the communication doesn't guarantee us anything, and this Jotagon's like a great backup to a Sabrina play. Kangaskhan said, I got this. This is my game. Alright, they do have the ability to knock out Kangaskhan next turn. Yeah, you gotta expect some kind of like potions and Ericas and stuff. Double potion, okay. If we get a 50-50 here. Oof, a 0 would be even better. Okay. So now we're in the predicament of, do we want to risk Kangaskhan or just leave it there? Alright, this one we're definitely taking our chances and hoping for a Magnezone. Can we get it? And the answer is yes. Okay, that's... We'll play our game. We won't run into Helmet and let him like swing twice or manipulate the board or nothing. Is that they're forced to Erica, or they yeah, because they can't cape. They already used the Helmet. So if they don't have Erica, this is the end of the game. They didn't ever. Well, GG's. What a run. From top 16 on, it was just... Again, I'm sure he's frustrated on their end. On their end, they're probably like, oh, this is why I'm losing. Like, that's why you're alive. At least we get to be aggressive now because of the cape. The game would have been over. Now there's a chance they drop, but actually it's as good as over because now we have the play where we're able to Darkrai tag him for 20 and then swing for 110. Let's just keep on putting pressure here. Alright. And this Kangaskhan is relentless. Honestly, if this is one way of closing out the format, which is showing like why we need a new set so badly. What would be poetic is just an 0-4. Kangaskhan, you did the Lord's work and more. Who should we give the win to? Should we give the swing to Darkrai? The Magnezone that was ready? You know what? After all the bullying that egg decks have done to Darkrai, we'll give him the win. Just like that, Magnezone Darkrai was able to top however many Executor decks. I'm sure I'll do some kind of cut, or maybe this video is like way too long. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed. We got the dub. Shoutouts to Mr. Meta, and GG's.